안녕하세요. 삼성 마케팅 프레젠테이션에서 시작하겠습니다.
Welcome to the Samsung marketing presentation. The reason I'm starting this presentation in Korean is that Samsung is a Korean company. Back then, we used to have our meeting and presentation entirely in Korean. But since we expand our electronics to global market in 1990s, we start to turn all our presentation and meetings in English. Yes, we have to keep up with the time. Before I tell you the objective of this presentation, please allow me to share you a short story about our company. So everyone has a name. You call Albert, Bernice, Catherine, Denise. There must be some reason that your parents give you this name, right? Same as Samsung. The founder gave this company Samsung this name is for some reason. Samsung is Korean word. Sam means number 3. 3 in Korean is considered as a very stable number. And Sung in other language is, for example, Mandarin's Xing Xing, in Cantonese is Sing Sing. Yeah, maybe some people already know about it, right? Yeah, that means star. So Samsung means a stable, shining star. Because of this idea and the event that Samsung experienced in the late 90s, we came up with our objective of today's presentation. Having said that, Asian countries have experienced an Asia financial crisis in the late 90s. This financial crisis brought a severe impact on our company. After that, we need to review our marketing strategy and get a new phenomenon to the company. And after a lengthy discussion, we come up with today's question. How can Samsung become a leader in the global market for hardware technology? In the following 15 to 20 minutes, we will begin our presentation with a comprehensive situation analysis, including customers, competitors, SWOT, and 4Ps, and other analysis. Then we will evaluate the alternative to ensure we are on the correct road to set the new plans. Then our team will demonstrate the recommendation from a narrow to broad base with some tactical and strategic marketing plans. Last but not least, we will wrap up our presentation with some action plans and also the contingency plan. So I don't want to keep you here for too long. I will pass the stage to our marketing manager to talk about the situation analysis. So welcome our marketing manager. Welcome, Shea.
Thank you, Georgina. So, as mentioned, we're going to start with a situational analysis, kicking it off with who is our Samsung customer. Our customer profile is embodied by middle to high income customers, those who are willing to pay for customized products. This profile also includes mobile professionals and technology enthusiasts, so those who need access to communication on the go, and those who are constantly seeking the latest trends and newest products and technology. Now, as far as our product, we're looking to consolidate and focus on 3 main areas so that we can ensure we're constantly providing innovative and customized products for our consumers. With this, our business will focus on semiconductors, telecommunications, and digital media. So you can see a few of the most popular products up here within these segments. And this includes things like DRAM chips, smartphones, and LCD TVs. Now, our next big question that you may be wondering is where will our products reach and when will they reach these areas? Well, we're committed to offering our products across the globe in over 200 countries worldwide over the next 10 years. So from now in 2003, we expect to see this expansion of our products to come to fruition by 2013. And then as far as where you'll be able to find this product, we'll be partnering with many strong retail distributors to provide our offering in convenient locations for our customers. This will include stores like Best Buy, Target, Walmart, and Circuit City, to name a few of the big names. When we look at the extent of our demand, we have a lot of upside. We know that our product is relevant worldwide, and providing access to this product is our goal. We'll be consistently increasing our reach from our current state, which is limited to specific countries, to reaching towards the worldwide market. We will be targeting our customers in marketing based on 3 specific areas. We're going to group these into the segments of accelerator, turning, and advanced. The majority of our marketing and brand awareness will be in accelerator segments, where people are not necessarily aware of Samsung and where we have huge opportunity to acquire new customers. For our turning segment, Samsung is becoming a known brand, so we will enforce our brand through marketing to encourage repeat purchases. And finally, in our advanced segments, we're already well known and liked by our customers, but we need to continue to encourage loyalty through our marketing. So with these segments, we will be aiming to expand sales specifically in accelerator and turning segments and maintain our sales in the advanced segments. Now, as far as understanding our competition, we break this up based on product segments between our digital media, our telecommunications, and our semiconductors. You can see we have many competitors, but the top competition is Sony, Intel, and Nokia. And when we review our top competitor, it's Sony, and this is for three main reasons. First, Sony has built a great brand over the past 20 years that most people recognize and associate positively with. Second, Sony has invested heavily in advertising, which has allowed them to make their name and products well known across a large customer base. And third, Sony has consistently been able to provide consumer-driven innovation, supplying customers with new and better products based on this. So, as we look at our future plans, we want to emulate these areas to help our marketing and branding. And it's also good to note that luckily, we do not expect our plan changes to create any competitor retaliation. So now I'm going to pass it over to Vishnu to talk through some of the additional areas of marketing and strategy that we have considered while creating our future plans.
Well, thank you so much, Shea. Now let us understand the political, economical, social, and technological aspect of our business. Starting with the political factors, the US is on verge of getting into a war with Iraq, which could potentially cause increase in the tax and debt rates of the country. And the Russian President Putin had made some mocking comments on UK Prime Minister, which could damage our global trade relationships. And moving on to the economical factors, the President Bush has signed tax cut to stimulate the economic growth of the country. And the Asian Pacific regions are turning the corner away from the economical crisis, and also the European countries are showing resistance towards a global economic downturn. And let us understand the social factors. We are experiencing the spread of SARS, which is a short form of severe acute respiratory syndrome, which is spreading over 30 countries, which is causing a lot of tension in our market. Coming to the technological aspect of our business, we are in the information stage and we are experiencing amazing launches and technology in the market, such as Bluetooth utilization, introduction of camera phones, and also the release of iPod by Apple. Moving on to the next slide, we have how are we making our way to the future? We are making our way to the future with amazing products such as smartphones, LCD screens which are bigger, slimmer, and better, and digital media and MP3 players, USB flash drives, architectural intelligence and instant response, and several cool technology gadgets and products. And next, let us understand our focus on brand life cycles. As we are spreading to different countries across the globe, we've categorized our marketplaces into three different segments, which are accelerator, turning point, and advanced. Accelerator marketplaces, our brand awareness and brand recognition are at a very minimal rate, where we are working on enhancing those factors. And the next marketplace we have is the turning point, where the brand awareness is significantly good and we are experiencing a high demand from our products. However, our brand image still needs a lot of work on, and we are working on that to enhance our brand image. And the next segment we have is advanced marketplace, where the marketplace has a good amount of brand image and brand recognition, but we are trying to increase the brand loyalty as well. Moving on to the next important part, the current product category stages, where our product lines have been segmented into three major product lines, which are semiconductors, televisions, and telecommunications. Now let us understand the SWOT analysis of the company, where we are going to understand the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats of our business. Talking about strengths, we are coming up with a concept called vertical integration, which means we are owning the process of manufacturing our products and supplying of our products to ourselves instead of outsourcing to a third party. And then we have a major focus on our hardware, and we also have amazing strengths in product design and strong manufacturing capabilities. Now let us understand our weakness. We're experiencing a low brand recognition and awareness and low personality and image, and we also have low market penetration overseas. And although we have our weaknesses, our opportunities really seem to be wide, where we have access to the global markets, and we are also starting to collaborate with strategic partnerships with software developers, and we also have amazing peripheral products and intersection of products and network. Talking about threats, as Shea mentioned, we have a tough competition from our competitors like Intel, Nokia, and Sony. And we're also experiencing piracy issues on our software and cannibalizing technology, where Josh will be talking about a concept called digital convergence, which will give you a better understanding at it, and the imitation of our consumer electronics by our competitors. Now let us move on to the another slide, which is about optimizing a marketing mix, where we're gonna understand the product, price, promotion, and place of our business. Our products have been categorized into three segments, which is digital media, telecommunications, and semiconductors. And the price, talking about the price, our products are spread across high-end to middle-end products, approximately 20% higher than low-end products. And promotion, we are promoting our business in three different ways, through sponsorship, through Samsung scholarship, and other digital and marketing campaigns where we are trying to boost our sales. And the place, we are deciding to spread our brand across multiple areas over the countries, domestic and internationally. And evaluating about the alternatives, Shaneil will give you a better understanding of it.
All right, thank you for that, Vishnu. Now, before we get into the actual Samsung plan that we have developed moving forward to carry us through the rest of 2003 and for the next decade, we're gonna go over a few options that we decided to go against. So the first thing that we're gonna be looking at is product differentiation. So one of the options that we have is to continue to develop more and more products and differentiate them as much as possible into all of their different market segments. We do have our new camera phone, we have worked on the watch phone and a few other items, and we can continue doing this to envelop all product aspects that we can think. Now, there are a few pros and cons to this. So one of the pros is that we do get a wider penetration into a lot of the markets. This will allow us to appeal to a lot of different customers. However, one of the cons is that a lot of our R&D will also be spread throughout those various groups. So rather than having a large fund representing a few different products, we would actually have that same fund now going across of about 20 different products. We've decided to go against this plan as we do not want to continue the product differentiation, but I'll leave that for Josh to talk to you about in just a few minutes. Now, the next option for our plan that we did not go with is going to be product manufacturing. We at Samsung have had product manufacturing as a staple in our business since our inception. Now, when we come into what we do moving forward, there are options to outsource a lot of the manufacturing. We do have our internal offices competing with external competitors who also have to fight for these contracts that we have. And one of the options is to let that go to an outside entity. If that does, that will lower our overall liability as we are getting another manufacturer into the process. So that is one of the pros. However, we get less control over those products. One of the things that we really stand on is the ability to actually customize a lot of our products, and that's one of the reasons we decided not to go with this plan. And then the third plan that we did not want to go with is actually going to be software development. So we want to stick with our hardware-driven focus so that we can continue to develop manufacture items on an open architecture. Now, when we're going forward with software development, if we decided to go down that route, we would need to spend more R&D on actually developing the original software. And one of the cons of this is it would actually close our architecture system. So rather than having the ability to use our Samsung hardware with a multitude of softwares, if we went down the route of producing software, then we would need to close that off so that it was only a one-to-one direct correlation. Now, one of the pros of this is that we don't actually have a dependency on a third-party software provider. Thankfully, we have very good relations within the industry, and we have been able to locate someone, a very well-known company that is going to help us and actually produce an OS. So that's one of the reasons that we did not want to go with software. We're going to stick with our hardware-driven mentality. And next, I'm going to hand it off to Josh to actually walk you through what our Samsung plan is.
All right, thank you so much, Shaneil. I appreciate the introduction. Now, what we're going to go over in this section is the Samsung plan. This includes three main pillars. That is product precision, synergistic relationships, and digital convergence. Now, when talking about these, we're going to start out with the product precision part. This is really where our main pillar out of the three comes from. Now, this is going to be a reduction in our product line, and what I mean by that is getting away from all the various appliances that Samsung has been known for in the past, and moving towards a more concentrated market, more concentrated way of producing and marketing. Now, this comes with a few benefits. One of them being the R&D. Now, that's the most important to us right now because we believe heavily in R&D to increase the technological advances of our company and our advantages over the competitors. Now, with that reduction in the product line, we're also going to have increased efficiency. Now, what I mean by that is, as you all know, we have our own manufacturing plants. It's what we use. It's what we've always used. It's what we will continue to use with this plan. With this reduction in product line, what that means is our plants become more specialized and are much more suited to high volumes of these smaller, more specific product lines. Now, this also makes marketing easier for us. How so? With the reduction in product line, we have fewer products that we actually have to advertise. So going from 20 to 5 or 8 or even 10, you're over halving what we've been doing in the past. Now, why is this good for us? Because that means that we can take this small concentration and spread it throughout the world much easier. Globally, regionally, everything like that. The marketing mix, the marketing segmentation becomes much more easy for us to deal with. Now, going into the next, digital convergence. Now, this is where the R&D will come really into play. What digital convergence is taking several technologies, several devices, and bringing them into one. For instance, cell phones. We're going to be bringing cell phones and mixing them with smartphones like PDAs, as well as cameras. Any technology we can cram into something while keeping it within the scope of what the consumers will want. That's what we're going for with this digital convergence. Linking everything together, not just in one device like I just talked about, but also in several devices that we'll have. Through Bluetooth technology, for instance. That's one thing that we're very heavily leaning on in the future. Now, this has pros and cons, just like everything else. The pros far outweigh the cons, and that's why we're sticking with this plan over here. As you can see, right behind me, we have that ease of access, technological advantage, expansion of revenue streams, everything that you could dream of by coming out with a whole new line. Now, the final pillar in this plan is developing that relationship, that collaboration with a software company. Now, some of you might wonder why we're going with a software company compared to the traditional past where we've stuck with hardware and not worried about the software side. The reason being is we're in trying to unify all these devices, all these technologies, all this hardware that we have. It's important to have the same program that can link them all together. Otherwise, it becomes too convoluted, too hard to use. And that's where we're really counting on this software company up here. Now, with this, we're going to collaborate ideas, collaborate with the software hardware side. It's going to increase our business opportunities by a margin that we almost can't even imagine. It's also going to lower our overall distributing costs because that cost will now be shared between the two companies, us and the software company. It has a few cons such as shared brand recognition, conflicts in future sales, and it's very contingent on a good OS. So this is why selecting the software company is so important. We need to do our homework. We have one in mind just for you. Now, the timeline for this, we're not talking 10, 15, 20 years. This is all going to happen within the next few years. Now, starting off early this year, we're advancing our manufacturing process. That's those facilities I was talking about to become specialized for these new product lines. Later this year is when we're going to really get hard and heavy into allocating or reallocating those R&D assets into these product lines. Early 2004, we'll be implementing collaborative strategies with this software company. And that's when everything's really going to start to come together, when everyone's really going to be able to see what's going on. Later in 2004, after this collaboration, is when we're going to begin marketing the new Samsung. So when I say new Samsung, I don't want anyone to get hung up on leaving the old Samsung behind. No. We're going to stay with our same core principles and move them into the future, just as the company has always done up to this point. Now, going to our budget. One of the most important things to keep in mind is marketing, manufacturing, and R&D. Those are our key staples, and that's what we're going to be looking really hard at into the future budget-wise. So we went over the R&D, why that's going to be so important, the manufacturing, why that's so important. Now the marketing is what's really going to come into play here. The reason being, we're increasing the marketing budget in order to target a global audience and also segment it regionally as well. So we want to have a global tie-in where we'll have one unit working on it, regional tie-ins with multiple units, and then we already have our domestic relationships in Korea where we hold 50% of the market. Now, that might not be feasible in this time frame in the near future for the world, but we believe with these products we will be able to get there sooner rather than later. Now, contingency plans. We have 3 that we think are really gonna come into play with our pillars that we have so far. The first one's gonna be manufacturing. If something were to happen in our manufacturing process where it's no longer feasible for us to control all of our own manufacturing, obviously that means outsourcing. Outsourcing provides that reduced costs. We can liquefy those assets that we had previously been using, and it's going to help us to target a whole new segment of the market as far as the lower end, the cheaper, since we won't have as much control over the actual manufacturing process. Now for software, our contingency plan is if we are not able to have a fruitful relationship with this software company, we will go back to our old open architecture. Now I say old, but all the hardware will still be able to be related to each other and tied in that digital convergence. It's just up to other OSs, other software companies to do. For product lines, since we have already reduced what we have, we're going to expand on those individual products. So that means sub-branding, having lower and higher end products instead of the same all-encompassing. All right, now I just wanted to thank you all. Before we get out of here, I wanted to remind you of our 3 product pillars that we're going off of. That is semiconductors, screens and televisions, and new cell phone technology. Once again, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you being here listening to us. Hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much.